There's something no one talks about when it comes to birthdays. While most people post photos, gather their friends, and count down to midnight with excitement, there's a group of people who quietly dread that day. Not because they're bitter, not because they don't appreciate life, but because, on a day that's supposed to feel special, they feel more alone than ever. If that's you, if birthdays bring up a quiet ache instead of joy, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what you're feeling isn't a flaw, it's not weakness, and it's definitely not something to be ashamed of. In fact, psychology suggests that people who feel lonely on their birthdays often carry some of the rarest and most profound qualities a person can have. And today, we're going to explore exactly what those are. Let's start by being honest about something. Birthdays are built up by society as a universal celebration. We're told that on this one day, everyone who loves us will show up. Everyone will remember. Everyone will make us feel seen. But for some people, that promise has been broken more than once. Maybe the people you expected to call didn't. Maybe the celebration felt hollow. Maybe you sat in a room full of people and still felt invisible. And over time, that feeling, that quiet disappointment, started to feel like something was wrong with you. But here's what's actually happening. You're not broken. You're not unlovable. You're someone with a deep emotional world, high standards for connection, and a rare ability to feel things that most people have learned to numb. And that combination, as painful as it can be, points to something extraordinary about who you are. Here are the 5 rare qualities that people who feel lonely on their birthdays almost always share. Quality number 1. You have an unusually deep need for genuine connection. Psychology shows that people who feel lonely during celebrations aren't lonely because they have no one around them. They're lonely because the connections they're experiencing don't feel real enough. There's a difference between being surrounded by people and feeling truly seen by them. Most people learn to be satisfied with the surface level. You never could. Research in social psychology refers to this as a high need for authentic belonging. And it's more uncommon than you might think. Most people can walk into a birthday dinner, laugh at a few jokes, take some photos, and go home feeling fulfilled. But you need something deeper. You need conversations that matter. Moments that feel true. A sense that the people in your life actually know you, not just your name, not just your face, but you. This is not neediness. This is depth. And it means that when you do find real connection, when you do find people who truly get you, those relationships will be unlike anything most people ever experience. You don't just want company, you want belonging. And that longing is what makes you capable of giving others the most meaningful kind of love. Quality number 2. You're highly emotionally intelligent. People who feel deep emotions during moments that are supposed to be happy often have what psychologists call heightened emotional sensitivity. This means your nervous system is wired to pick up on things others miss. The tension in a room, the forced smile on someone's face. The difference between a message someone sent because they meant it and one they sent because they remembered at the last minute. On your birthday, this sensitivity turns inward. You feel not just what is happening, but what is missing. You notice who didn't call. You sense when attention is performative rather than genuine. And because you feel all of this so clearly, the gap between what birthdays promise and what they deliver hits you harder than it hits most people. But here's the reframe. That same emotional intelligence that makes birthdays painful is the exact same quality that makes you an exceptional friend, partner, and human being. Research consistently shows that people with high emotional intelligence form stronger relationships, navigate conflict more effectively, and create deeper bonds. You may cry more easily. You may feel more. But you also love more fully, listen more carefully, and show up more completely than almost anyone else around you. Quality number 3. You carry a quiet sense of self-awareness that most people spend decades trying to develop. There's a reason birthdays stir something deep in people who feel lonely on that day. It's not just about the party or the phone calls. It's about the meaning behind them. Birthdays mark another year of life. They bring up questions. Am I where I thought I'd be? Do the people around me really know me? Does my life feel like mine? Most people distract themselves from these questions with cake and noise, but you sit with them. You let them surface. And that willingness to look honestly at your own life, even when it's uncomfortable, is one of the rarest and most valuable traits a human being can have. Psychology calls this metacognitive awareness, the ability to observe your own thoughts, feelings, and patterns from a distance. It's the foundation of personal growth. It's what allows people to change, to heal, to evolve. And you do it naturally, even when no one taught you how. The loneliness you feel on your birthday is, in part, the loneliness of someone who sees clearly in a world that often prefers to look away. That clarity is not a burden. It is a gift. And over time, it will lead you toward a life that actually reflects who you are, not who you were told to be. Quality number 4. You have lived experience with emotional loss or unmet expectations, and that has made you stronger than you know. For many people who feel lonely on their birthdays, the feeling didn't start this year. It started earlier. Maybe as a child, birthdays were complicated. Maybe there wasn't always a celebration. Maybe the people who were supposed to make you feel special were absent, physically or emotionally. Maybe you learned early that you couldn't always count on the people you loved to show up. That kind of early experience doesn't just disappear. It gets woven into how you experience moments that are supposed to feel safe and joyful. Research in developmental psychology shows that early patterns of unmet emotional needs can create what's called a heightened sensitivity to abandonment, a deep, quiet awareness of the possibility that love might not show up when you need it. But here's what that same research also shows. People who have navigated early emotional loss often develop exceptional resilience. They learn to self-soothe, to find meaning independently, to build inner strength that doesn't rely on external validation. They become people who can sit with discomfort without falling apart. People who understand pain well enough to hold space for it in others. If you've felt lonely on your birthday for years, it means you've been carrying something heavy for a long time. And you're still here. You're still watching this. You're still trying to understand yourself. That is not failure. That is extraordinary strength. Quality number 5. You are someone who values meaning over performance. In a world obsessed with appearances, the perfect birthday post, the group photo, the count of how many people wished you, you are someone who simply cannot fake it. You don't want a performance of love. You want the real thing. And when you can't find it, you'd rather feel the silence than pretend everything is fine. That refusal to perform happiness you don't feel is, psychologically speaking, a sign of strong personal integrity. Research on authenticity shows that people who resist social performance, even when it would be easier to go along, tend to have a more stable sense of identity, stronger long-term relationships, and greater overall well-being over time. Yes, it can be isolating in the short term. When everyone else is celebrating and you're sitting quietly with your feelings, it can feel like you're doing something wrong. But you're not. You're doing something rare. You're choosing honesty over comfort, reality over performance, and the people who are worth keeping in your life, the ones who will truly matter to you, will love you for exactly that. So here's what I want you to take away from this. If birthdays make you feel lonely, it doesn't mean you are unlovable. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you feel deeply, think clearly, and refuse to settle for connection that isn't real. It means you've been through enough to know what actually matters. And it means you are someone whose inner world is rich, complex, and worth knowing. The world doesn't always know what to do with people like you, but that doesn't make you less. In many ways, it makes you more. Give yourself permission to feel what you feel on your birthday and every other day. You don't have to perform happiness. You don't have to explain the ache. But I hope that today, even a little, you feel seen. Because you are. If this resonated with you, subscribe to this channel. Every week, we explore the psychology behind the traits, feelings, and experiences that make you who you are. And we do it without judgment, without labels, and without pretending that being human is simple.